So I've been told that you can't really tell how big this room is on these videos. So I'm here to tell you these rooms are big. So this is the main kind of great room area. So that's like living room, kitchen, dining room, and a little bit of foyer all kind of wrapped into one. The windows are 6 foot by 6 foot. The door is 8 feet tall. Ceilings are at 10 foot. So it might not look huge on video, but this room is absolutely giant. That's why it echoes so bad. If you guys are new here, my name is Andrew. This channel is called Rogue Wrenching because I'm an automotive technician by trade, but in the last 6 months, I've been catapulted into being the general contractor on this house project that we're standing in right now. This is the house for my family. I had originally hired a general contractor to build this house for me, and through a series of unfortunate events, some subs that he had hired, when I fired the GC, the subs that he had hired, I ended up keeping, which was a mistake on my part, and all of them have screwed me to the tune of about $100,000. So now I'm stepping into the gap and trying to get this house project done. We are insanely over budget. We are months behind, but as of the time of this video, we are moving in 21 days. So we have 3 weeks to finish from how you see it right now to a finished house. So we've got the first coat of mud is on and mostly dry. The next step is gonna be a sanding and then a second coat of mud. Once that second coat dries, then we'll be able to go ahead and texture the whole thing. Once the texture is done, then obviously we can move into paint. Once the paint is done, then we can go wild with all the trim outs. So once the paint is done, things are gonna move really quick, but we have to get to the point of paint before those things can move quickly. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. This next week is the last kind of like a little bit of a lull as far as construction goes because everything's hanging on the sheetrock finish. Now, with that being said, if you remember from the last video where I talked about having the siding and roofing on so we could patch the holes in the bedrooms where the power cords go through, that didn't happen. We had a bit more drama than I would like to admit, and there's no roof, there's no siding. There's still holes in the sheetrock. So let's talk about that. So last week we were supposed to get siding on. We're supposed to get siding and roofing on. My roofing guys showed up, they set all of the drip edge, and when they went to set the first sheet of metal, that is when they realized that the material that they had, that is the screws that hold the roof metal down, were ordered incorrectly. So my guys out at Herman Lumber had used the screws that they normally use for metal roofs, but since we upgraded to a hidden fastener standing seam, this other type of roof panel requires a pancake head fastener versus a regular like painted fastener. So we had the wrong type of screws to put the roof metal on, and as it turned out, those screws are unobtainium, like they don't exist. I mean, the closest place that we could find them was 3 times the cost and 2 hours away, and they don't deliver, and we have to go and get them. So we opted to wait and special order overnight the correct screws from their supplier. Now, I just want to give a huge shout out to Herman Lumber here, especially Josh, my salesman out there. Like, these guys bent over backwards to make sure that this was corrected as quickly as possible. And all of the extra costs associated with rushing an order out, overnight shipping, like all of that, and getting it out to me as quickly as possible, they took care of me on that. And I've just been tremendously blessed to have the team at Herman Lumber helping me out with the material side of this build. Obviously, if you guys have watched these videos, it's been an absolutely wild ride, and having a team of people like the team at Herman Lumber has just been amazing and invaluable in this project. If you guys are doing a building project anywhere in the tri-state area, I highly recommend you guys reach out to Herman Lumber. Fantastic team of people, great products, great pricing, amazing service. I cannot recommend them enough. So because we didn't have the screws to be able to put the roof metal on, we had to hold off on the roof metal project. Now, it just so happens the guys that are putting the roof on are the same guys that are putting the siding and the soffit fascia on. So no problem, we'll shift gears. We'll just put some siding on for the rest of the day while we wait for these screws to be overnighted in. Now again, this is Monday of last week. Now, as previously mentioned in the last couple of videos, I'm moving to a week delay on the production schedule. So today is Sunday. You're gonna be seeing this on a Saturday, and we just had that record-breaking rainstorm, that atmospheric river here in southwest Missouri. that just dumped an absolute insane amount of rain. We broke the daily record for Springfield, Missouri. The previous record set in, I believe, 1898 was 2.01 inches, and on Friday we recorded 3.98 inches, so we almost doubled the previous record that stood for almost 125 years, or over 125 years. So a crazy amount of rain came, and so my exterior guys were not able to, obviously we're not putting a roof on when there's this kind of torrential downpour. So we're not really doing anything beyond Wednesday. So now backing up, sorry to kind of tie all this together. Monday, wrong screws, we can't put the roof on. Okay, that stops, let's shift gears, we'll put the siding on. They start opening up all the siding packaging, or the packaging on all the siding that's been special ordered, and it turns out we're missing the starter strip that goes at the bottom of the wall, the first piece that you put on before you start stacking the siding. So we can't put the siding on because we gotta order that piece in. Okay, not a big deal. We'll just go ahead and put the soffit on because they can put soffit on. Started looking around in all of the boxes and packages that are out here, and I had failed to specify to Herman when we had the other material delivered that I needed the soffit fascia. So we didn't have soffit fascia on site. It was out at Herman, and by this point, we had lost the day in just wasting time. So it was kind of a frustrating Monday. There was a lot of phone calls, a lot of stuff going on, but the ultimate kind of conclusion of that is we didn't get all of the material that we need to finish the exterior until Friday morning. So again, because we had record-breaking rainfall, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, didn't really get anything else done, but first thing tomorrow morning, guys are showing up. We're putting the roof on, we're doing the siding, we're getting all of the exterior wrap done, and that should be finished by, optimistically, Thursday, but maybe pushing into Friday. I've got a really good team of guys that's helping me out with that, and they are just gonna knock it out of the park, and I am super excited. They've already done some work here. They handled the attic floor installation, and just phenomenal, great guys to work with. Hopefully, the next video that you guys see from me is I'm gonna show you what the roof looks like on the house. I'm gonna show you what the siding looks like on the house, because right now the outside of the house looks basically the same, which is, that's why we're here inside again, talking about the house. That's kind of where we're at for right now. We had some hiccups early week, and Herman did an amazing job getting those kind of cleared out, and we are making good progress. The guys out at Cardoza Construction are handling the sheetrock. There were a couple of people in my comments that said there were no fasteners in the middle of the boards, and well, there's fasteners in the sheetrock. This sheetrock is actually attached as it should be. So our limiting factor right now is because we had all that rain. There's a ton of relative humidity, there's a bunch of moisture in the air, there's a bunch of ambient humidity is very high, which means that stuff doesn't dry as fast. So the inside of the building, we're trying to get it to dry out, and it's just taking a long time to dry because it's been so humid. So that's just kind of the downside of building in the springtime, is you get that kind of humidity, which can slow down the building project, which is frustrating, but also it's nobody's fault. We can't really control that, and we could bring in some equipment to try to dehumidify, and the amount of money that would cost to do that doesn't really make sense versus what it would cost to just delay a day for some extra dry time. Yes, there are things that we could do to try to dry things quicker, bringing in heaters, bringing in dehumidifiers to try to dry this stuff out. But again, it doesn't really make sense when we could just wait another day. Now, when we start talking about waiting a couple of days, that gets really uncomfortable. Like I said, we have 21 days, well actually 20 days from the day this video is being recorded until we are moving in. So we've put notice in at our rental. We're committed. We are leaving our rental no matter what in less than 3 weeks. And that is intimidating because, as you can see, we're not even close. So we've got to finish the sheetrock, we've got to get painted, we've got to get the electrical trim out, we got to get plumbing trim out, we got to get HVAC trim out, we got to get the kitchen installed, we got to get the bathrooms put together, and we've got to get our propane gas tank and supply set up. And we've got to connect to grid power, or connect the building to the power grid. So we've got a transformer and temporary power set, we got to run a trench, put power in the trench, and connect the building to power. So all those things have to happen in the next 21 days, and well, actually less than that, because we have to have all those things go in and get the building inspected and get signed off by the county so they issue our occupancy permit so that we move in, we're not ruffling any feathers, which is a whole nother can of worms, whether or not the county should be able to tell me I'm not allowed to live in my house, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about house construction. So that is kind of where we're at. That's the gist of the recap for this week. I know it's not super exciting, so I appreciate you guys sticking around to see that full story. And yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. Really appreciate you guys watching, and I'm really looking forward to being more consistent as far as the production schedule and getting videos out to you guys. So we're gonna wrap this one up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or you found some value from it, please give it a like so that it can spread to more people, and we'll see you guys in the next video.